Hello, everyone. Today we've got a bit of a special. What's the word? Well, I guess a special really is the best word for it. I'm here to talk about part 4, and in the other corner of the metaphorical room, we have my Glaswegian counterpart, who is
I'm TCG and I fucking hate myself, by the way.
TCG, which can be expanded to the Chainsaw Gamer. I
No,
think.
fuck you. The
No.
TCG, the TCG, do you know what TCG stands for? A United Ireland, which is what we all really fucking need. Like,
It stands for a United Ireland, despite that being AUI.
aye, but if you move it 5 letters back on the alphabet, it works it.
Right, there's like a secret code for all you like Glasgow people.
Yeah, fuck the Queen.
Move everything 5 letters back.
TCG stands for fuck the Queen. That's what it stands for.
Well, anyway, on that jolly note, we're not here to slug off the monarchy.
Yeah.
Maybe later. But on this day, this blessed day, or a rather sad day in some aspects, part 4 is over for JoJo.
Oh no.
And it's a good time. Have you seen it?
I've not seen the ending, but I've read the manga, so I know what happens.
Yeah, we've read the manga because we're cool kids like that. So that's all good. And now it's time to reflect on the good bits, the bad bits, and all the in-betweens. So I guess there's some obvious places we could start off by talking about that. I mean, Kira, who is like the best anime villain of all time. Maybe we should start off, let's move back a bit, talk about the cast. Because I think this is a pretty strong cast, at least compared to part 3. I think the characters are far better in this one. Which might be partly because of their stands, because Rohan's Heaven Door is like the most creative thing for a long time when it comes
the most OP thing as well.
Well, at least when compared to part 3, when you got what's it, Magician's Red, the fucking chicken that shoots out fireballs. This is a pretty standard thing. Then you get Heaven's Door next time, which is just the wackiest, the craziest fucking thing of all time. And it's pretty unique because he doesn't like Josuke. He hates Josuke.
Yeah.
Which is different compared to before, when it's like we're best buds. Because the closest thing we had to him being the closest thing we had to an asshole who was like a friend, I guess, was Caesar, but that didn't last for very long. Or Strawheim. Strawheim was a bit weird.
Nah,
No,
Strawheim
maybe it was like
everybody.
Strawheim.
Actually, Strawheim loved everybody. He's like, I know that my orders were to kill you and shit, but you know what? You're my best pal. Let me just fucking pull out my assault rifle from my belly button.
Stroheim was weird because Joseph was constantly like, he's a Nazi, but he also was like, but he's my Nazi. Like, I love that guy.
Oh.
So yeah, it seems like the fact he was a Nazi didn't really faze anyone.
Yeah.
And every so often when I was watching part 2, I was like, man, I really love Stroheim. Then I remembered, oh wait, he wants to gas the Jews. That's a bit of a problem.
Well, I mean,
because at the end you get the bit, because it keeps doing this in JoJo when it does this is what this character is doing now. And then it did the one for Stroheim when he dies in Stalingrad. And it's really nostalgic. Oh, Godspeed. You kill those Americans. And I'm like, oh man, wait, he's on the bad side. So.
Well, I mean, you need to remember that not every single Nazi in the world kind of wanted to kill the Jews. It was just they get sort of signed on, fucking. That way a lot of unemployed people don't really want to go to the job centre, but they're kind of forced to. It's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, but Stroheim seemed pretty dedicated to the cause. I didn't get any feeling of him being half-assed, screaming about German science every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
That man was a patriot through and through.
Yep.
And somehow we managed to talk more about Stroheim than we did about Rohan.
Yep.
But
great fucking start.
Yeah, it is a good start. But I just thought Rohan's was a good example of the creativity of all the stands for part 4. Was because just overall, because part 3's stands weren't very interesting for the most part. Because I think the Derby was it Osiris?
Yeah.
That was probably the most interesting stand of part 3. And then you get to part 4, and apart from the beginning, I guess, because at the beginning you got Aqua Pearl or something, which was the water one, and you get Red Hot Chili Peppers. But apart from that, you got Enigma, you got Highway Star, all these really, really unique stands. And I just thought the stand abilities that the cast had were really, really creative to go along with it, which was
yeah.
no,
Also,
good.
I noticed it in my first read of the manga, but I thought it was like quite smart. Basically, like Araki, like he set it up so the protagonist's ability was to, heal and repair, and the antagonist's ability was to like destroy and blow up. So like they were in stark contrast with each other.
Yeah, it was a direct counter, and it was interesting because in the openings, for Chase, the second one, for the Chase second one for part 4, that's from Kira's perspective.
Yeah.
And some point he blows up this locket, and then in the third one, Josuke ends up repairing it because I guess that's kind of from his perspective.
Yeah.
Which I thought was pretty cool because I don't think you fully realize the direct counter the two have until the final fight.
Aye.
So yeah, that was pretty cool. Because there's
Really?
a lot of cool abilities in the final fight from Josuke, just being able to like counter shit. Like when he repaired like the tarmac and stuff
Yeah.
to try and avoid the air bombs. Not like it really helped because the air bombs kind of go through shit, but at least he tried.
Like fucking the whole thing about Kira was like he doesn't want to fight, and he doesn't want to do in bad, doesn't want to hurt him anymore. But remember that one fucking fight with Koichi in the shoe shop where he just relentlessly bombed him back to back? He was pretty happy. It's like
Yeah, he seemed pretty happy about just kicking in Koichi with his like shoe. So,
I smell bullshit.
not the most calm person in the universe, to say the least.
You
But
know
I
how
guess
like
you've got a
it's weird. It's like like Diavolo. Diavolo is closer to Kira's like goal than Kira actually was, because for the most part and right until the end, Diavolo wouldn't really have done anything unless Giorno actually confronted him. Like he'd never done anything.
Yeah, you hear like Bucciolati's annoyed because of like the drug problem, I think.
Yeah.
But that's like I don't know if that's not you can't entirely blame Diavolo for that. And yeah, he kind of just sat in his room from a week until he just sat in his room all day, just like hoping no one finds him.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty boring existence, to be honest. I'm not sure like what kind of satisfaction he was getting from being the boss of the mafia from just sitting there all day, but
I suppose.
hey ho. So yeah, nice guy. And then he got like the worst death of all time, despite not doing much.
He's not really died yet. I think he's still going.
No, I mean, yeah, he's still dying. Like, chances are, even after part 6, like, he's still dying, probably. Because, I mean, God knows where he is. Because he just seems to be in this own, like... It's hard to tell where he is, because he's not really on Earth. He just seems to be in this own dimension of his.
Yeah.
Where it just constantly loops between different scenarios. So, yeah, I mean, I'll just do that for all eternity. So... It's a bit weird that he managed to outlive, like, Giorno and everybody.
Well, I mean, you know how, like, the whole, like, reset with, like, Pucci, the fucking dog for The Simpsons? Yeah, Pucci, the big dog for The Simpsons that reset the universe.
Yeah, that's why I keep on thinking of, whenever I hear Pucci, I just keep thinking of the dog with shades.
Always recycle to the extreme!
Yeah, it
well,
kind of ruins the immersion.
It was implied that, you know how Giorno's ability, it wasn't like to, like the universe thing, it was weird. It was implied that he kind of did the same thing as like Johnny and D4 fucking, I hate trying to say it, Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. But, like, like their ability was to like jump from universe to universe. It was kind of implied that for the most part Giorno could do that, and the theory was, like, well, let's be honest here, right? The ending was fucking rushed. They never really explained what his ability was. All they explained was, he's going to fucking die over and over and over again, but they never actually explained what it does.
From what I thought, it was that he reduces someone's attack power to 0. But I don't really know how the infinite death thing fits into it.
I mean, you could like call it imagery for Araki, but it seems a wee bit too...
It could have taken literally like a panel to explain it. So I'm not sure if it was rushed or if it was just the fact that he just couldn't be bothered, because there's so many abilities in JoJo that just don't make any sense. Because I'm pretty sure when we were introduced to Crazy Diamond, that could repair objects, but it couldn't. It could only bring the smaller piece of an object to the bigger piece of the object, I think. But by the end, it just goes away with that entirely.
I mean, it was the same way, like, Giorno. Do you remember, like, he could only turn things into, like, life. He could only give life. and then fucking by the end he was like turning ladybugs into bullets that like healed cuts. It was stupid.
Yeah, and there was the thing about him being able to like reflect damage, and that's the first thing we see of him when he's fighting that leaky-eyed Lucia or whatever. And then we never see it again.
Yep.
Which is weird. Just all these things of like these stand abilities that just like completely disappear the next time we see them. It was like the door in part 4, the room that Highway Star has. And I'm really not sure what's up with that, because like Rohan goes into the room and then it activates the ability, and then I don't know. We never need to like. Yuya never needs to use the room again.
Yeah.
So Christ knows what was up with that. It's really weird though, because a lot of these things, it's like, it's not like literally the next chapter, like Araki could completely just change what the stand does.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make any sense to me. And like in part 8, for example, have you read part 8, or have you not really?
The only like basically like, I can't even remember the characters' names. It's like right. So they find out that like the shed like in the back garden, the wee girl in there is actually a boy, and then they go outside.
Yeah.
And they start firing bits of metal, and then that's how far I read, and I just couldn't be bothered. I just am going to wait till it's finished.
Oh, Jojolian's interesting, but it's another case of like, there's a chance Araki forgot stuff, because I mean, people say like you can't just say forgot stuff when it's not done, which is true, but like at the beginning, he has like this like flashback when he sees all these faces, for example, and you see what is supposed to be the main villain, and nothing's been seen of him so far. And the thing is, like, when we see who the main villain is supposed to be, it's a flashback, because we've seen like we've seen the main character's past in part 8, and he never appears in it.
Yeah.
So it's a case of like who was that guy? And there's the bite marks as well, which is supposed to be like how you get your stand, and that's not being explained either. It's not like part 8 is done, but it's been going on for like 5 years, I think.
Yeah.
And it is ending. Like it must. It's not going to end for a long time, but I think like for part 7, the Funny Valentine fight took a year.
Yeah.
So like part 8 is going to be going into its final phases. So there's a lot of instances like, will this get finished or not? It's a bit weird though, because they're like really big plot points, and Araki just seems to they just don't come up again.
Yeah.
It's not like they're really hard things to remember either. Like he could literally like he could go online on like the JoJo subreddit, and there'd be people like pointing out like, hey Araki, what's up with this?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just weird how he seems to forget stuff.
Well, I think it was an interview I think it was one of the Jump issues. He says that like, if I am finishing this, I'm gonna finish it at part 9. But you know how like what I thought part 9 was gonna be? You know how Eyes of Heaven? That's kind of what it turned into, because I thought it was gonna be all the JoJos gone to like the depths of hell to fight Dio, and that's kind of what happened in the game. So I don't know.
It would be a really good swan song to get like a lot of the characters back, because like Josuke is supposed to be his favorite JoJo, and then he only appears once. And then in part 6, there's like a note at the beginning of one chapter is saying that Jono is on his way to America.
Yeah.
Like he's on his way to Pucci. It's like the biggest slap in the face, because if he met Pucci, he could have stopped the universe like reset.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a shame that we never get to really. There's not a chance for us to ever see these characters again. But yeah, God knows what part 9 could be, but it'd have to be something like pretty significant. Like part 6 works as like an ending to JoJo, which is why like it was supposed to be the ending, because it has Dio involved in it, who is like essentially the main villain. Yeah. And it wraps up Dio's like, well, it just wraps up everything about Dio. There's nothing more they could have done with Dio. And like if part 9 is good, because it will be good, but if they just have this brand new villain, then he dies, and it's like, well, that's the end of part 9. It's a bit like, that's the ending of the part, but it doesn't feel like the ending of JoJo. So it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see what he's going to manage to do to make the ending of JoJo like really, really special.
Do you know,
because he can't bring anyone back, for example.
I know. Do you know what would be cool? Like, like in part 4, where like the hands come out and they pull you back. What if the final part is based around Dio and all the stand users he's killed, and that's the actual hands of the stands pulling him back? Like something like that would be so cool, but it kind of be fan servicey too much.
Yeah, there's probably going to be like novels and that kind of thing because there's so many novels in Japan, like based around like all these different characters. But
Have you
we just don't
actually
get them
sat
around here.
down and like read it?
Well, any of the novels?
Aye.
No, I think one of them is released over here. Not released, but it's been like translated, which is
Yeah.
like Purple Haze Feedback.
I don't
It's
even
like-
know.
Well, Purple Haze Feedback is like about Fugo, or however you say his name, because I don't know how you say it, because I'm not an Italian guy, but
Lego.
however, it's fucking like cheese or something in Italian. I don't know, but it's like him, when he tries to join back the gang, and there's all these weird ones. They're like, there's one called Dio Over Heaven, I think, and Christ knows what that's about. There's one about George Joestar in the new universe.
Shit, that's the one I read. It's like
Oh, you couldn't have read that one's not been translated, but
I know,
everyone
but-
wants to read it because it's insane.
No,
Like, that's the draw of it.
I was like a synopsis. It's like George Joestar and fucking Lisa Lisa are having their wedding, and then there's fucking cars is there, but there's like zombies as well.
Like 39 versions of Cars or something.
I
like,
know.
for some reason.
And they meet Kira, and then what happens is Killer Queen doesn't like Kira anymore, so Killer Queen goes with him. It's fucking crazy.
No, it's fucking insane. I've seen pictures of it, and there's one of Kira ripping like Lisa in half. It just blows my mind. And I know there's like, you get funny Valentine in it, then you get funnier Valentine and funniest Valentine. I'm like, what is this? Like, who the fuck wrote this? Because it is just like a mess, a good mess, I guess. Because Japan seems to be really weird with copyright, because they don't seem to care. Hence why Araki's just naming like, characters after Metallica and all this.
Yeah. I'm loving this part 4 discussion we've got,
Well, no, yeah, but that derailed once I realised I don't have anything to say about Rohan. Come on, you got anything to say about the cast? As lovely as they are.
Well, you've got fucking Josuke, which is literally Yosuke. Okuyasu, which is point for point the same as Kuwabara. Don't even try and deny
Yeah,
it.
he is. It's exact same.
It's fucking, it's insane. Then you've got Koichi, he's fucking Goten, basically. That's all he is.
Yeah.
You've got fucking French cooking man, except he's Italian. You've got fucking Ayami.
Ayami?
I
I
don't
think
know.
he's like made up a new character, but close enough.
You've got fucking Joseph Joestar and his magic baby.
Joseph was a wreck in part 4. Like, he's just a sad old man. It's really upsetting. Like, all
I
my
know.
friends, like, I told them, like, they found out Joseph was coming back. I was like, don't get your hopes up. Just don't get your hopes up at all. And then they saw him and they were just like crying because it's just this dementia-ridden like shell of his former self.
Aye, did you ever see that fan comic? I seen it on a thread on /A, and it's like, you know how like Josuke and Joseph never really get resolved in the manga, they just sort of walk away and that's it.
Yeah.
They done a whole thing where like Josuke and Joseph sit down and then they start to bond over like, their comic books and like they actually have a discussion and then he does get in the boat and it's sad to see him go. And it's a fan made hanger for somebody's like deviant art, but see the way it's drawn, it looks panel for panel. So
Yeah.
I consider that the real canon ending. Thanks, deviant art.
Well, JoJo's weird because like I love the part-based formula, but at the same time it means like, you see if they did fully flesh out Josuke and Joseph's relationship, like that could take up like a couple episodes and it would kind of, I don't know, take away from the rest of it.
Aye.
Because with One Piece is like 800 chapters.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was so much time to like get stuff done, and then part 4 has got like 30. No, it's got like 100 chapters, so they can't really. I don't know. It'd be a bit weird to try and get all these like fully fleshed out relationships. So it probably should have been done a bit better than it was, because essentially all it is like the baby arc,
Mhm.
and that's it. But the baby arc was pretty cool because like, I don't know, Joseph and Josuke like respected each other, I guess, after it.
Did he fuck respect him? He spent all his money.
Well, no, he spent all his money at the end, which is a really dick move. But at the end, he was like, "You saved that baby, Gramps. Maybe you're not, a piece of shit."
I mean, there Josuke was about to buy the new Stone Island Supreme Armani on Titan shoes and fucking,
Yeah.
that went in the fucking drain.
What they should have done? It was just have them together. Like, I know, just like when other characters are walking by or something, just have them in the background, like chilling over a cup of coffee. Just a small thing, so it's like, like, hey, there they are. They're having a good time. Just small interactions here and there, not just full screen time, but just the small things, so you can tell that they're still like, I don't know, having a good time basically. Because they emphasize Yukako and Koichi's relationship a couple times. Yeah. And it's not just like they're just kind of there, so they should have just done something similar to that.
No, it is weird though. Like, right, so we'll get back on topic here because we're gonna fuck up, right? Interesting characters, alright? You know, I hate saying his names, always fuck it up. You know, Shigeki in The Harvest?
Yeah.
See, like, The Harvest, it's such a, like, by the numbers stand. It's basically Minions, the stand, right? But they're actually creative with it, and then they make this whole arc where, like, they go under, like, you know, under chairs, under tables, under, like, vending machines and pull out coins, and they make a small fortune. And that was taking a stand that was kind of boring as fuck, and then making it interesting. And then there's that one scene that the anime done 10 times better than the manga, where fucking Shigeki's getting chased by Josuke and Okuyasu, and he lies back and all he's
he just gets carried away up the walls and stuff.
Like that's one of the things that, like, you read it and it's never going to be as good as actually watching it.
Yeah. The fight as well was pretty cool, because it wasn't like, it didn't take up the entire episode, because like the slice of life aspect was fun, and then you got the fight, and it was like this fat, like gremlin looking motherfucker just decimating like the two main characters. Like, the wine thing was pretty cool, because I like how, I don't know if I guess it's accurate, the whole thing of like putting some Jack Daniels or whatever, Frosty Jacks in your blood veins, and it makes you go like super drunk. Yeah. So I like how in JoJo, because it's always done this, it kind of incorporates a bit of the science into the fights, because it's just like really out of nowhere. Yeah. Like, half the time, like when part 6, where it's like Foo Fighters goes under the hot water, and it's like bacteria can only live under 37 degrees. It's like how do you, why do you know this? Like,
fucking Bill Nye.
That guy loves his biology, that's for sure.
Yep.
But you know, despite Shigetsu's creative power, I'm still pretty happy that he got blown away. I mean, it was pretty upsetting in the anime, because I didn't care at all for it in the manga. I was just like, alright, he's dead.
I know.
Then in the anime, like, he's screaming and everything. The awesome music's on, and I was like, holy fuck.
I know, it's weird. It's like, it was like, realistically, it's a wee fat boy, a wee ugly rat bastard getting blew up. It shouldn't be like all depressed and shit. And I just remember being like, turn round, Josuke, turn round.
It's probably just the fact that, like, for me, he mentioned like his mother and stuff. Like, oh shit, there's people that are actually gonna care about this rat.
Yeah.
Not coming home for his supper.
No getting his fish fingers and mash.
Yeah. So, I mean, poor guy.
Like, do you know the biggest insult to the character? He was shouting on Josuke to turn round, right? But see, by the time he did fucking turn round, he was turned to dust.
Yeah.
It's like, just Kira going, fuck you.
The Joestars don't seem to be very good at like responding to people screaming.
Caesar?
Like when Jotaro, like, what was it? In the final fight, Josuke's screaming his head off when Okuyasu gets blown up, and Jotaro's like, that rain sounded like Josuke. And there's like big threads on Reddit and stuff of people explaining why it makes sense, and even so, like, the rain sounds like Josuke. Like, in what reality will the rain sound like a 16-year-old screaming? Unless, like, Jotaro's got some, like, Vietnam style, like, flashbacks or something.
You have to remember that Jotaro's get the classic symptoms of autism.
All the signs of autism.
Yep.
Can't talk to people, shouts at girls, hates his mother, loves dolphins.
Really loves dolphins.
So. Yeah, really loves dolphins.
Jotaro
was pretty well done in part 4, I think. I think he was far better in part 4 than he was in part 3. Not like I really had a problem with him in part 3, but I think I respected like how he was like a wise mentor in part 4, and all my friends thought he was far better when he wasn't taking center role.
I mean, like, he's better in every aspect, but the art style fucked him over and made him look stupid. Like, part 3 had this thing, no so much at the start, because he looked like a gay sailor at the start, but see towards the end, I'd just call it a Dio fight. He had like a really threatening face, and you could tell like he's gonna kick fuck out of Dio. You never really got that with any of the other JoJos. Like none of them had that. Like he's gonna fucking kill him.
Yeah, that's the exclusive to Jotaro. That like sheer like threatening
Giorno
like
kind of
appearance.
had it a wee bit. No so much, but he did have it. And I'd say Johnny as well.
Yeah, maybe.
But like Joseph, even Jonathan, like Jonathan's like the most serious out of all of them, and he. You know what? I know you've lost all your arms and legs and you're going to kill me, but you can serve the first hit. Fucking slits his throat.
Yeah.
It's
There's a
ungentlemanly.
couple times when Jotaro was threatening, like when he's beating up Kira, but it's because they use like still frames to make this like really like pissed off image. But I think the last art style just worked really well for showing how threatening he was. Not like I really mind the new art style overall, because the new art style like looked dodgy in some places. Well, not even the art style, like the anime looked dodgy in some places.
Aye.
That's undeniable. Because before I tried to defend it, because I was like, it's not that bad, but there were some episodes where it just flat out was like, oh fuck, like what's this?
Yeah.
But that wasn't the art style's fault. It was just it was probably just because they tried to do 39 episodes in a winner, that they didn't have the time for it.
I'm a firm believer that, see, if you want to experience part 3 the absolute best way, watch everyone up to the Dio fight in the 2012 show, and then see when it gets to the Dio fight, just swap it out for the OVA. It makes it a lot more enjoyable.
I've seen aspects of the OVA, and it does look really good. Like a lot of people commenting like how it's a lot more fluid for sure, and like the animation. It's far more brutal as well from what I've seen of it. Really violent, because I saw like the Iggy fight. And you know, I don't know if you've seen that specifically, but Vanilla Ice just chops Iggy in half.
Yeah.
Then just kicks his top half like across the room, because it was like bad in the anime, like it's shocking for what it is, but the OVA just goes completely overboard with it. Because the OVA really wasn't as bad as a lot of people try and make it out to be.
I mean, like, one last point, right? Fucking Giorno is my favourite JoJo, right?
Really?
Let's just get into this, right? Okay. Giorno was cool, and he done cool poses, and he had cool fucking cinnamon hair, and he punched that guy into a fucking bin. What did Giorno put something in a bin? No.
Wait, who was it he punched into a bin?
I can't even remember the cunt's name, because, I fucked myself, alright? I read the full manga for the first chapter to the newest chapter 8 in less than 2 months. So, like, a lot of it I just forgot happened.
Yeah, I took like half a year to read it all. So I was slightly better. But I've like, the only reason I remember as much as I do is because I reread it in parts for like my videos. But you see, for part 6, for example, I've done one video, and the rest of part 6 don't know anything about it. Which is maybe partly because like I don't like part 6 that much.
I think part 5 is fucking so good. Part 6 is really forgettable. I mean, I can remember them being covered in wax, and they're in the prison, and then they get out, and they have a hallucination about Disney World, and the cunt says he'll bite his cock off.
Yeah.
And then Jolene nearly gets proposed to, and she picks the fucking wedding ring up and throws it in a crocodile's mouth. Jolene was
I
an
think part
arsehole.
6 like really needs an anime, because that's the only way I'll really manage to appreciate it. But at the same time, like I really doubt there's going to be a part 6 anime, because apparently Japan like just don't care for it at all.
Well, I mean, a lot of people in Japan didn't like part 4 either, but
Yeah, that's true. And part 4 did good. I don't know if you probably haven't seen the sales, but the sales are good for part 4. Like they're down because no matter what the series is, essentially the sales are always going to go down per series. So they are good for part 4, and I imagine they will do a part 5, which is awesome, because part 5 is underrated over here.
yeah.
Though I think a lot more people are appreciating it now than they used to.
Well, I mean, it's weird. It's not part 5 to hate. It's because there's not really a good translation, so everybody just assumes none of it makes sense, and I don't think anybody really got into it.
Yeah, it's really annoying because like a lot of my friends want to read part 5, and I just have to say like I wouldn't really recommend it, because like the last third of it is just horrible. Like it's just straight out of like a printer. Like you can see the page is like being crumpled and everything and all this. It just amazes me for such a popular series, because like at this point it's probably one of the most popular series in the West. Because I'm pretty sure they're making like Funko Pops and everything now. They're getting around to it, but it's just got such bad like translations for part 5. I think part of the problem for part 5 might be that it kind of ends on a bad note, so that's everyone's everlasting memory, which is probably the same for part 6.
Yeah.
Because like Diavolo is not memorable at all. Because it's like it's not like he's bad, but you only see him for like the ending and that's it.
I mean, he's got 2 personalities, so it's a bit weird.
Oh yeah. But it's like, well, I don't know. People just kind of forget about him because, like, for Kira, everyone loves Kira, and we see Kira throughout. Like, well, not throughout because we don't see him until like episode, I don't know, 14 or whatever. But after after that, we like consistently see him throughout the show. And for part 3, like, we didn't see Dio until the end, but Dio was an established villain already from part 3. No, from part 1, so it didn't matter.
But like, see, even at that, Kira has been in every single episode, but he's just been walking about the backgrounds.
Yeah, I guess, because like when he changed identity, a lot of it for that was literally just him. Like, it was just small things that he was doing around the house, like when he tried to put on like new shoes and stuff. But I mean, he did get like an entire episode to himself and all that. I don't know. I just really like Kira because he's like a serial killer, and I just love serial killers in media. I just find them really fascinating. And Killer Queen has just got the like sexiest design of all time, so it's kind of hard to hate it.
I will admit that part 4 really dropped the ball with some of the animation, but there's not been one scene with Killer Queen in it that it wasn't really, really well animated.
Well, there's the reveal that every like you must have seen all the like memes and stuff about it online. Like the episode when like he confronts Shigechi, it was outsourced to like a Korean studio.
Yeah.
And it's just the worst thing. But apart from that one frame, like he's been on point throughout. Because I really like how David Productions, they do this like filter.
Yeah.
Like you see in the recent episodes, it's got this really black, it's like grey, cloudy filter over Killer Queen. I really like how they've done that with some of the stands.
That's like
because it makes him look really menacing.
Yeah.
See, I'm really big fan of that. So they did good there.
I mean, yeah,
one of the problems I had with you see the anime, it's got a lot of speed lines in the background.
Yeah.
For intense fights. But I was rereading some of part 4, and part 4 has that in the manga. So it's not even a David production thing, so I really can't complain at all about that aspect of it. So that's like my major criticism, apart from like some of the episodes' animation, like thrown out the window.
I mean, it's weird. It's not even so much like, see if it was still in the part 3 art style, it'd look a bit better. But see, because the art style is kind of more like, I'd say cartoony and simplistic, it's like if you don't try, it really shows. Whereas part 3 was like, basically JoJo is like one of the, like, basically every anime is like one picture with a flat mouth and animated hair. Like, that's pretty much every anime for like 3/4 of it, right? But part like JoJo, for some reason, because of the art style, it makes it look really nice. But obviously when the art style changes in part 4, it's a bit
Yeah. Part 3 really was amazing, because you see, because naturally, like, when the characters are further away, they look worse. But when I'm looking through part 3, even the characters that are in the background, like the main cast, they look really good.
Yeah.
But like in part 4, I guess maybe because it's more simplistic, like half the time, like it's just this really, really basic drawing of them. So I think part 4 really could have benefited from being split into maybe three cores.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we'd have to wait so long for it to be done. And time is like a major problem, I guess, when there's so much to adapt.
Yeah.
Because if they did it, like, you say if part 4 took like 2 years, we'd never get up to like part 6 or like part 7 or anything. And it would be such a wait for people who've read it before. And also, you see, if for the first 13 episodes, all that happens is essentially like we get up to Akira, like a chili pepper guy. Imagine that, like, that's what you get. Then you've got to wait like half a year to get something else, because like they wouldn't even have the main villain at that point. And it'd be so agonizing to wait so long, and it'd be so slow. Because like there'd be parts, because it's the end of the week, that it would be like nothing has happened for an entire like 13 episodes, which it just sucked.
That was one of the things I says about the adaptation. See, like when I read Part 4 for the first time, it felt like Highway Star was only about like the halfway point when I read it. See, when I actually watched it, Highway Star felt like 3/4. If you know what I mean, it felt like you were further in with Highway Star, and I know they did change the order of some things for the adaptation, just because Araki's a human, he makes mistakes, some things don't make sense, but there was never any like major points that like really changed.
Yeah.
But I just, do you don't feel like that? Like for some reason,
I do. Yeah.
it's weird, but I'm not complaining. I feel like there's something that's been missed, and I can't explain it.
The thing is, a lot of people say, because I was looking at comment, you see the episode where Kira changes her identity.
Yeah.
Guy in the comments is like, for anime viewers, this is the second half of JoJo, and it gets really good here. But when people say that, what they mean is they're talking about Enigma and Highway Star. Like that's the kind of fights they're talking about. But they're right at the very end. So people's idea of the halfway point is literally just the last third or something. Mm. And that's not to say that, after that point, the kind of fights you get into are bad, because like it is good. We're not trying to like shit on Part 4 here, but like the kind of fights that people really think of stand out are right at the very end of Part 4, and I don't think a lot of people realise that.
See, Part 4, and like I've got a rough idea why they've kind of slacked with Part 4, right? So think about it like this, right? See, Part 1 and 2, they were like kind of short, so they were only really one series. Like Part 3 is like so popular over there, it's like crazy. So I think David were thinking, well, Part 3 is really popular and it might be rewatched, so we'll make it really good. But then see with Part 4, they kind of know that a lot of people over there don't really like Part 4. So I think they think like, oh well, the Blu-ray sales aren't going to be amazing anyway, so it's alright. But I will say, I have seen some of like the uncensored Blu-rays and like the things they've touched up. And I would say if you're judging a series' animation, wait until the Blu-rays are out, because if you've got any major problems, like I noticed some of the scenes with Josuke's eyes, they just look so horrible and out of place, but in the Blu-rays they get fixed and they actually look like normal JoJo eyes.
Well, yeah, Josuke's eyes are really weird, because he has like 3 different types of eyes.
Yeah.
Like he has like flat out his Disney eyes at some point, and they're not like, I just personally don't like them that much, but it's really weird how he constantly changes eyes. But the thing about watching an anime, like an anime as it comes out, like people might look at Part 1 and 2 and be like, wow, this is amazing. They might go into Part 3 and 4, see some duds, because for Part 3 it was good, but people thought the Dio fight was lacking places.
Aye.
Art-wise. The thing is, those don't have Blu-rays. Like, people watch the classics, people watch Cowboy Bebop and all this. They're watching, I can't comment on how that show was, for example, when it came out, but that's the Blu-ray version they're watching, where everything is touched up, because you can see, like, comparisons of, like, the Derby fight, TV to Blu-ray, and the Blu-ray is just so amazing, because there's all this new stuff, all this, like, really fluid animation they've added in, because, every anime does this. They've got this points where, like, somebody's, I don't know, talking, and then they look at, like, the camera's looking at something else, so it's just like a static screenshot.
Yeah.
So they don't have to show them, like, moving and stuff, talking. Like, that's the kind of thing that gets polished up in, like, the Blu-rays, as well as just making, we're just fixing all the problems, because I can guarantee, like, you see the episodes that the Korean studio did?
Yeah.
They did, like, the Kira one and the I Am an Alien, the first one, which is my least favourite episode by far, because it was just horrible, and not horrible, but it was really boring. Like, that'll be fixed up entirely.
Yeah.
But for they see the Alien one, the pacing was weird, because everyone really likes that arc, but for the first episode, it's just leading up to the dice game.
Yeah.
And the dice game is the best part of it. So the first episode, like, not that interesting material, and they just skimped out in the art and animation by going for the Korean studio. So it was a bit upsetting, because he just got, like, I don't know, bad anime, like bad art, and like not that interesting stuff. Because, like, a lot of people don't like the rat fight for some reason, which is weird, because I think it's one of the best ones. But the animation and art on that episode was insane.
So good.
Yeah, it was absolutely mind blowing, and you could, like, I've seen Blu-rays of that, and it's absolutely brutal when the rat, like, hits Jotaro's hand, because you can see his, like, nails coming off and everything.
Oh shit! Like, they animated it all swelling up and pus coming out and shit.
Yeah, it's amazing to
Oh,
see
it
that
looks
in the
so
Blu-ray
good.
form.
I've seen screenshots. I
Well,
mean,
anyway,
like,
I'm quite impressed because we've really like hammered into part 4 for 40 minutes, which
well,
is quite
not really.
impressive.
We spent like 25 minutes complaining about fucking part 5, so.
No, we've complained about part 5, but then we've slugged off like
Right.
no the art for like 10 minutes.
Okay, if you're watermarking like the sections, like just say like end. Right, this is the thing that's going to end the Blu-ray discussion. The last thing I'm going to say is like, see if you want an example of a series that was like shit until it got a Blu-ray, like its Blu-rays. Look at fucking the new Berserk series. They've actually
Yeah.
animated full scenes that weren't even in the series. It wasn't even reanimated. It's like they've just animated them.
Because the best part of Berserk like was the parts when they actually they did hand drawn animation
Yeah.
for it, and like a lot of the parts for they've just done away with the CGI and properly drawn it, so it looks far better in some places.
Well, you have to remember that, like, even though it's hand drawn, the biggest problem wasn't that it was hand drawn; it was framed terribly. They were putting it in weird camera angles, and like, it was kind of sickening. I remember there was one scene where they were in a bar, and like the camera's at the top right, and it pans down. But see, as it's panning, like half of the room, like it basically implies that like the room's 10 times bigger than it actually is. And then see when you see Guts walking out the room, it's actually tiny, and it kind of just made me feel a wee bit sick because I was like, I don't know how to explain it. So I didn't feel it made me feel uncomfortable, like fucking Doctor Who's like wee fucking shitty shitbox.
Yeah, as bad as Berserk like was, I guess, as an adaptation, it was still enjoyable just for the fact that it's Berserk, because you can't take away how amazing the story is for that show.
Yeah, the movies are spot on, by the way.
Yeah, the movies are amazing. Yeah, I haven't seen the third one because I don't want to have to see like. I guess I shouldn't really say much about Berserk, but there's some really heart-wrenching stuff that happens in it, and I just don't want to have to see it animated because it really upset me to read it.
Apparently, it's more upsetting reading it, but I will admit, right? See, like, right, I'm a pretty chill guy, right? I don't care like if people see like what I like and shit, right? But I genuinely had to like shut my door when I was watching that one scene because that was the first time in about 13 years where I've genuinely been like, what the fuck? Like, I genuinely was like shocked at something, and that's the first time in about 13 years I've ever been shocked at something. That's how powerful that scene was.
Yeah, I'm really hyped for the new anime because I keep going back and forth between what's my favorite arc, but the new arc that's coming out in April, it's got one of my favorite scenes of all of Berserk in it, so I really can't wait to see it animated, even if it is shitty CG.
Right, so this is the end of the Blu-ray discussion thing. Thanks. Put the watermark.
Thanks everyone who just tuned in to learn about Blu-rays from local weeaboos.
I mean, part 4. Do you know what sealed the deal for part 4's popularity? It's like that first opening.
You think so?
I would say that, you know how the latest opening, that was like spot on for the series, but see for new fans that knew nothing about part 4, it was like the morning, and then like, you know, they went through the whole like,
oh yeah, that open. I thought you meant the actual opening, like crazy noisy.
I know, but see like that
the cold opening at the beginning.
I see that, then leading into Crazy Noisy.
Yeah,
It got you really hyped.
that was good for two reasons. Because David Productions, I think they've learned a lot from doing part 4. Because you've seen part 3, manga by panel adaptation, but for part 4 they added in some scenes, and what they added in was just superb. Because a lot of part 4 you don't know who the villain is yet, and that could be boring. But the way they got around it was they added in these scenes now and then. So they added in the severed hand at the table, and they added in like Kira taking a shower with the hand, which was a bit weird.
Yeah.
But it's that kind of thing. So it just keeps you like, oh man, who is this? And it makes like the reveal. Because I think one of the best things about part 4 is when Kira's revealed, and it's just so good when you finally see like, oh shit, this is the guy we've been like seeing hints towards for so long. Because when he's revealed in the manga, it's like the only hint we had towards him was literally like the last chapter before that when oh shit, I think my screen went off. It went into sleep mode.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, but Remy, like the Remy stuff happened literally the chapter before we met Kira, so there wasn't any like big suspense as we were like trying to like You know what I mean? Like wait to see who he was.
Yeah.
So there wasn't any big build up, is what I'm trying to say. I think my computer like fucking up really threw me off there.
Yeah. I mean, realistically though, part 4 is amazing. Well, for me, it was really, really good for my first reading experience. But see, actually watching it back, I wouldn't say it was bad, but I wouldn't say like you start to realise its flaws on the second time, and it makes it a bit less enjoyable. Because like technically speaking, I watched the OVA part 3, then the actual 2013 part 3, and then I read it. So I made it through part 3 3 times, and I wasn't bored of it. But some scenes in part 4, like, I don't know. Part 4 for me, I wasn't excited for the actual episode. I was excited to see that one scene animated.
Well, it might be harder for us because like
We
the
know
stuff
everything.
we're hyped for, because you know like the Yukako stuff when it's Cinderella arc,
Aye.
like it's not a bad arc, but it's like when we're watching that, we're thinking, you know, Kira's like an episode away. Like, why can't we watch that?
Yeah.
So, I think, I know, taking that out of the way, it's not really like that bad at all. Because I think part 4 is better than 3 in basically every aspect. Well, yeah, there's very few ways I could say that part 3 is really better. Because one big thing about part 3 is part 4 is the pacing. I think was far better.
Yeah.
Because part 3's got 3.5 chapters per episode, and then part 4 does 5 chapters per episode. Because there was a lot of like complaints about how some arcs in part 3 in the anime took like 2 episodes. Because like people didn't think the Darby the Gambler fight should have taken 2 episodes, and the Sun fight took an entire episode, and it's only something like 2 chapters in the manga,
Yeah.
which is ridiculous. It should have been like, I don't know, crammed in at the end of an episode or something if they didn't have that. So if they weren't so like determined to follow the manga like completely.
I mean, I'll tell you one thing that part 3, in my opinion, done well better than 4. See, introducing it to the protagonist, Jotaro left a fucking impression. Like, most of the protagonists have like a wee spat with the post or something. This guy, full pale, was in a prison cell where he's more getting fucking guided in, and he tries to shoot his cell. And I would say they couldn't have picked a better way, like, to show off how fast his stand was. See, rather than just going, oh, he's got a fast stand, he literally
Yeah.
fucking tried to blow his brains out and it get caught. But you could tell when Araki started that idea, it was implied they couldn't control the stands, and then halfway through it, he just decided, they can.
Well, they still retain that to a degree, I guess, because some people can't control their stance. Because like Pucci has no control over Whitesnake, for example.
Yeah.
So he used to like shout orders at it. But yeah, he has definitely made some changes to stance. The thing about part 3 is I think part 3 is just like dumb fun.
Yeah.
Because Jotaro's like, he might not be the most well developed character, but it's very hard to complain when it's just him beating the shit out of people all the time.
Yeah.
Like, it's just fun to watch. But I think Josuke is probably more like, I don't know, objectively a better character.
Aye.
I'd say Johnny, like as far as writing goes, it's very hard to argue against Johnny being one of the best, if not like the best.
I'd say every character, he had the absolute most development. Like, he started off as a miserable, hateful, spiteful bastard that hated Giorno, and see by the end, he was a big strong cunt that like could fucking, like, he was actually fighting because of what happened to see fucking Gyro, and like, I feel like everything that happened, like leading up to that, made it better. But then at the same time, like, fuck Araki, because you know what happened to Johnny in part 8.
Yeah, it's a bit upsetting because it's not like with the new universe. It's not like the sense of family as much as the previous ones. Because you know how it's like, I don't know, Jory meets up with his uncle in part 4 and stuff. You know, it's cool seeing these characters interact. There's none of that for like the new universe, which is partly just because it's like just started.
Yeah.
But I mean, it sucks that like Johnny like just fucking died. It's like a horrible death.
I mean, like,
It was fitting for him though, because what he did was kind of selfish,
yeah.
and like as much as Johnny progressed, he wasn't a good character by the end. He was still a cunt.
He was, but he
So-
was less of a cunt.
No, he was less of a cunt, but he was still an asshole.
I mean, like, here's something that Jotaro has that, like, I'd still to this day think that a lot of anime characters don't have, right? Like, you think about Goku, like, his goal was to find the Dragon Balls, and then now his goal was just to be the strongest. Naruto was to become Hokage, and now he's done it. Like, Luffy was to find the One Piece. They all have, like, a goal. What the fuck was Jotaro's goal? Nothing. He was a fucking arsehole for the start. So, his full goal was, I want to kick fuck out everybody because I'm an arsehole. And he stuck to his goal, and I think that's one of the things that made him more endearing.
I guess. I mean, I kind of get what you're saying, but wasn't his goal to beat the shit out of Dio?
Well, no, but you need to remember at the start of the series, he didn't fucking know who Dio was. So for about the first, well, it depends. It depends like what adaptation, because like fucking in the OVA, like they get to they get to like fucking. I'm pretty sure they get to Polnareff by episode 3. And they've established he's a good guy by episode 3, so the pacing's terrible. But like, there is a point at the start where he's got no goal and he's just an arsehole, and that's what like. There was also like you tend to find that you get characters who are arseholes when they're young, but they become good guys when they're older. He was exactly the opposite. He was a fucking navy boy, a wee fucking mammy golden boy, and he turned into an absolute fucking arsewhite.
And then he regressed. Then he became like a pretty nice guy.
He's not
part
nice.
4.
He's still not really nice though.
Well, I mean, he's less of an asshole to Joseph, but at the same time,
he cracked his uncle that's younger than him in the jaw.
I guess that's not the nicest thing to do, even though, like, I mean, Josuke fucked up his hat.
Yep.
So, you never mess with a man's hat in JoJo. That's just dodgy territory right off the bat.
JoJo, like, it's weird because it's been, like, 2 years, like, since I got into JoJo. But still to this day, I'm still interested by it. I still think it's interesting.
Yeah, I guess one of the problems is you can always get worried when you get into something that'll just like stop caring about it.
Yeah.
But JoJo and One Piece, like
That's
JoJo
not
more.
bad.
Ever since I like got into JoJo, I've just been constantly into JoJo because with One Piece, like I was into it, but then JoJo came along, then I was less into it.
I'm the opposite.
But,
I was into JoJo and then I get into One Piece.
And then One Piece, but nothing's topped JoJo, and I don't think anything can. Like Berserk interested me. I liked Berserk, and I was thinking, could it be better than JoJo? But it never took over JoJo. Like, but I'm just constantly like just been JoJo for like a year.
But you have to remember that like One Piece is like fucking. If I'd been honest here, One Piece has run its course. It really should end. Like, come on to fuck Oda, man. Like, how much like basically in the newest episode they've found the first red poneglyph. So if they find all 4 of them, they'll find the exact location. The One Piece. That's it. They'll find Raftel, and that's it. But them finding the 4 poneglyphs, I guarantee you, they'll stretch that out another 7 years before they even get to like the 4th one. Never mind actually traveling.
I think One Piece should have a lot longer to go. Mostly because like Luffy's not anywhere near strong enough to do anything. So it's really weird if it wrapped up soon.
Oh, I mean,
because at the moment he's like in Big Mom's territory. But you see, if he manages to defeat the Big Mom, I will flip and I will honestly hate One Piece for at least 2 weeks because like he struggled like hell to defeat Doflamingo, and in a 1v1 I think he'd lose because you got to remember he was not in a 1v1 against Doflamingo because Law did all this crazy shit against him.
That's what a lot of people don't understand. Folk go like, "Oh, Gear 4's insanely strong." It's really no, because Doffy had like, literally Law. I'm not even exaggerating. Fry's insides, for the inside. He also was getting bombarded with attacks that full fight before it, and then Gear 4 happened. After he was weak as fuck.
Luffy was kind of bruised, but at the same time, like. Chances are a lot of the stuff that happened to Luffy was physical attacks and they have no effect on him.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, and even so, even if he was hurt, he did not have his insides being melted. Like, nothing can really compare to that. And like, Doflamingo got shocked like 100 times. And then there's the fact that the townspeople, like, saved Luffy at the end. Like, no one would save Doflamingo, for example. Like if he went out. So, you know, Luffy was just very lucky.
Well, I mean, the biggest problem for me with One Piece, it's like, it's fun as fuck when you're actually watching it, right? see when you like sit back and think about how long the series has went on and everything that's happened. To me, it's just got to the point now where I'm like, come on, to fuck Oda, seriously. Like, where else can you take this story? The One Piece is going to be like fucking. It's going to be a weapon that destroys parts of the ocean and creates all blue. I can see it right now. It makes so much sense.
I think one of the upsetting things about One Piece right now is they can't really have that whole thing of like, you know, in the previous arcs, like a brand new villain came out of nowhere. But they can't really, you can't do that, because then you've got to wonder, like, why has nobody talked about this villain before? Because anyone they release now has got to be insanely strong. Like, they've got to be warlord level. So that's why, like, all the new characters now are just, like, Yonko subordinates. Which is cool, I guess, but they're not the main focus. Apart from Jack, but you don't see too much of Jack.
See, so. One Piece, like, you know, Naruto was literally two wee guys scrapping and doing, like, moderately strong attacks, and then they kind of went apeshit and went strong, but it was implied they were never going to get stronger than that. Then Naruto literally turned into people inside giant spirit energy things, leveling half the planet, and then you just think to yourself, like, the first episode is about a wee guy with no pals, and then, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it changes too much. I feel like One Piece, like, the thing that made Luffy so endearing to me was, like, he was OP as fuck, but nobody took him seriously. But it wasn't like Saitama's level where, like, just brush him off. But, like, everybody was like, fine, I'll just kill you then now. And Luffy got the shit beat out of him. But it was never in a way where, like, he was bruised or anything. He just started to go attacked and was like, oh, fuck it. And then Oda kind of found interesting ways to make him, like, in his attacks seem more interesting. Like, remember that one fight where, like, the guy fires the, like, bits of wood at him, and then he puts that jacket on made of spikes, and any other character would jump back. Luffy just punches right through the spikes. Like, that's an interesting character. Like, that's an interesting way, rather than I'm strong as fuck and he's gonna explode.
Yeah. And a way to, like, I guess, because I should probably do this, tie One Piece into JoJo, they're very similar in the fact that, like, the devil fruit aspect and the stand aspect. Because, like, I thought, you see, when I watched One Piece, I was like, man, these devil fruits, so creative. Yeah. How does he come up with it? But then you see, like, JoJo's abilities, and it like, in my opinion at least, it blows, like, One Piece abilities through, like, out of the water.
You have to remember that, like, JoJo is, like, spirit energy and all that. One Piece is, like, fruits you get for eating, so it's kind of a bit more plausible, but as plausible as a country.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's true, because you know, like, how one of the, like, Part 8 stands is like a room.
Yeah.
Like, it's like a room above, like, the room that, like, the main character's in. Like, that couldn't be a devil fruit. So I guess that's true. It is, devil fruit is kind of limited in what it can be. Yeah. I guess. So yeah. There's still some really cool devil fruits. Like, the one that got me was the jacket fruit in Dressrosa, because it's like, it's such a weird ability to have.
My favourite devil fruit of all time is the fucking JoJo fruit, where we get back to the topic, because this is meant to be a JoJo podcast. This is meant to be a JoJo podcast, and we're talking about...
Oh, yeah.
Fucking...
Oh, well. I mean, I don't even know if I can name this, like, the JoJo podcast. Like, I'm not sure what the hell this is going to be named, but I guess we've been doing this for an hour. We can try and round back into JoJo and end it on a positive note. So, we didn't really touch on Kira that much, so...
Well, the problem with Kira is, like, his goals are simple, what he does is simple. Is there really a lot to talk about? He's fucking David Bowie.
Well, I mean, he's cool as fuck, but I guess maybe there isn't that much to say about him.
I mean, think about it, right? What were his goals? He wanted to shag Hans and fucking no get caught. He does get caught. He fights back to try and keep his Hans shagging antics a secret. That's pretty much his full character.
Well, I find it interesting that he's not on the scale of any of the other characters.
Aye.
Because it's like, Poochie's like, reset the entire universe. And then Kira's like, go down to the club on a Friday and just kill somebody.
Go into the bingo.
You know, yeah, he's not like a massive threat like that. And it's kind of shown in his stand, because his stand is initially not that powerful. And then you get Bite the Dust, which is like insane. Like, that's... Because I'd say that I guess maybe not counting Poochie, like Kira was the closest to beating everyone.
Yeah.
Because like, you see when he removes Bite the Dust from Hayato,
Yeah.
he was something like 3 seconds off of everyone dying.
He
And
just
there's
got
multiple times. There's multiple times because even at the end when he's going to hit the switch, in the ambulance scene, he says he's testing his limit because he wants to like do it at the very last second. What the fuck? Because if he actually did it when he wanted to, like instead of saying testing the limit, if he did it right then, he would have won because he'd have known everything that Josuke was going to do. Like it's such a like insane ability. I really like that. It's cool how like Josuke has the theme of like time manipulation through all the main enemies.
Yeah.
And until you get to part 7, it's hard to tell what part 7 is going to be, like what the next trilogy is going to be, or what their deal will be if they're connected. I'd imagine they would be,
Well,
because you know he's done it for like part 1 to 6.
part
not
9's
part
going to
1 and
be
2,
the
I
ending.
guess.
Like I couldn't see him. This isn't like Oda, right? Like he doesn't. I don't want to say end it, but I think he knows like it's run its course. Nothing lasts forever. And right, this is a topic I want to talk about. Right, this is a TCG IRA approved topic. Right, Requiem and how
Requiem.
Josuke, no, how Jotaro was kind of first person to get Requiem, kind of.
Yeah,
'Cause-
no, that's
I mean, like, think about it
Kira
like this.
essentially got Requiem.
But like, right. So could Star Platinum freeze time and he didn't realise it, or did his strength get so like powerful that he had to force himself to learn how to freeze time?
Well, I personally doubt Araki thought of the time freeze before the final fight. Not like there's anything wrong with that, because it kind of made sense in a way. But like people say, like during the Derby fight, what was it? Like when he's moving away, like when he gets eliminated and stuff, that's him stopping time. But at the same time, it's never made obvious. Because you know when One Piece does foreshadowing, it's really obvious. Like, oh man, that thing that happened 100 chapters ago was referencing this.
Yep.
Like it's not that never happens in JoJo. So it's hard to tell. But if you think of what Requiem Stand does, it's like it's a direct counter to something. From that, I mean, we only saw 3 instances. But yeah, it's like the user has something they want their stand to do, and then it does it. Because Silver Chariot didn't want anyone to get... Polnareff didn't want anyone to get the arrow, so then that protects the arrow. Gold Experience was to defeat Diavolo with his overpowered ability, so it had the power nullifier, and then Kira wanted to escape, so then he got Bite the Dust. So I'd say that was the first like Requiem. Oh, in a way, I guess, because gave him a new ability, because it only hit him, but then when it hits a stand, it completely changes the stand design. But at the same time, though, they essentially have the same effect.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess even if his stand changed design, it wouldn't be that different. Because I guess Bite the Dust is kind of, if not as overpowered as the Requiem stands, it's just underneath it.
Well,
If Kira wasn't just such an idiot by like shouting his name in the street.
think about Silver Chariot Requiem, right? Like that design literally became a fucking wizard. I'm no exaggerating. He had the fucking wizard hat and a big overcoat, like.
I can't even remember the design for it because the pages were just so bad for the ending. This really like greeny, like grayed out color for the pages. I couldn't really make out any of it at all. And I think maybe it was just that panels, but I think part 5's art style can be kind of hard to look at in some places. I'm interested to see what what the anime looks like compared to part 4, because I think even though I basically slagged off the part 5 art style, I think from part 4 to 6 they're very similar. Like I can barely notice a difference. But I mean, I'm not like an artist or anything. I'm sure, artists can see a massive difference, but I can't really see a difference between them until you get to part 7, where it's just like insane.
Well, I mean, for me, it's like part 4 was like the beta for that art style, and part 5, about a quarter of the way into it, kind of got it nailed on the head.
Yeah.
Basically, Requiem's weird. It's like You know how Fang feel like fucking Sonic the Hedgehog? That's the only way I can describe his hat. It's like, oh, it's weird.
I consider myself up to date with Sonic the Hedgehog, but I've never heard a Fang.
Well, Fangs feel like a fucking spin-off game. Actually, it was in
Sonic
Sonic
Fighters.
Fighters. It was in Sonic Fighters as well.
I've never even heard of Sonic Fighters, so you've clearly got some like Sonic like knowledge that surpasses me.
I will surpass you.
I mean, Shadow the Hedgehog, that's my territory. If you want to know about Shadow the Hedgehog, I'm your guy, but apart from that, probably not. Yeah, Requiem's weird, and Bite the Dust is really weird. The fact that Kira gets 3 stands is really weird. It's very versatile, actually, for what it is.
So I have heard 2 theories about Requiem stands. The first theory, which is like kind of proved in part 5, see Requiem becomes its own stand. It doesn't need a user anymore, which is, when all Turtle Boys fucking splattered, Requiem still cuts the boot. But then at the same time, it seems like Giorno has complete control of Requiem. So, I don't know if it goes full Requiem, you lose control. And if you only do, what Giorno done, it's only temporary. I don't know.
I don't think they have control, because you see in the stopped time or whatever that Davilo has, the only experience is saying, my user doesn't even know what I do. So I think it's one of those stances automatically protects, does its thing.
Do you mean the fucking master? Let's kill the whole beach.
I guess. So that might be one of the counters against if people do say this, that Killer Queen is a Requiem stand, because he's full control over what Killer Queen did, but Polnareff had no control over Silver Chariot.
He was fucking.
And well, I guess what happened to him? He was stuck in that turtle. I don't know if he was stuck in the turtle at that point. I think he was.
No, he was still with the turtle. His body was fucking destroyed, I'm sure.
Yeah, his body was a corpse. That's weird. Does he just not have a stand now? Because it's supposed to be with a spirit. Because everyone else kept their stand, I'm pretty sure. Oh wait, no. Wait.
It was everybody's mind gets swapped. Trish got the Sex Pistols and.
Oh yeah, so no, he wouldn't have the stand then, because it would be stuck in his body. But then JoJo's supposed to be about the spirit, so his spirit would have the stand. Because when Kira dies, he still has Killer Queen, because it's his spirit. I don't know. Having fan theories for JoJo's fun, and I think you can really kind of just have whatever headcanon you want.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of it that just isn't explained, which is okay. I for some of them, I kind of wish Araki would just say this is canon now. Because for the Purple Haze feedback, I've heard really great things about it, and I'd really love for that to be canon, because it gives solid conclusion to that Fugo's backstory. No, not his backstory, but his character. And it would do no harm to Araki to make it canon, because it's not like he's going to come back to part 5 again.
Yeah.
Or maybe he will when he's old. You never know. He could just do books, writing about because he seems like he's not really going to slow down. Because the guy, there's a manga called Kochikame, I think, and that's been running for 40 years, and then it ended. The guy's in his 60s, and he's getting a new manga out, despite being 60. And I think Araki's kind of the same. When he's in his 67, he'll still be doing part 9.
Yeah.
It's because he does it monthly. I think he can really manage to do it a lot, really well, because I think he must have a decent amount of free time.
Yeah.
Because Oda has no free time. He gets 3 hours of sleep a day.
I know, it's no healthy.
Yeah, and really being monthly's only served JoJo, because it's got amazing art, and it's hard to tell if this is because it's monthly or maybe Araki's just progressed, really good writing.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, you said JoJo, One Piece is it should end.
Yeah.
But the thing is, JoJo has only gotten better, really. For part 7, the stands are better in my opinion. The characters are better than most. It's really a really good part. It's not really getting worse in any way.
Can I confess something?
Are you gonna say you don't like part 7?
I hated part 7 until
No.
Diego fucking got the world and that fucking Skrillex stand. See, when I had both of them, that's when I started to get hype as fuck. But that, see, ideally though, see if there was a time to suddenly get hype. That was it, because that was right off the back, a defeating Funny Valentine, and they thought they'd go away, and then fucking that just appears in this big fight.
So you didn't like it until the very end.
Yep.
Well, JoJo's a bit weird because there seems to always be a point where it gets good.
Yeah.
Because apart from, I'd argue part 5, it never is amazing at the beginning. Because like you see, I think for part 7, one of the first fights is against the Boom Boom family.
Yeah.
And that's not very good. But you see part 5, like the beginning of that, it's like really fucking amazing. Because like first half you go against like the execution team.
Yeah.
Because I've been doing videos on them. White Album, Grateful Dead, like amazing fights. Like even Bucciolati, for example, like really awesome fights just from the get-go, which is really sweet. So.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
There is one fight in part 6 that I would really love to see animated, and I think it is the most creative fight. So basically what it is like Jolene gets caught with a stand that basically means she can only remember 3 things. So she starts writing like what's happening on her errand, and then it gets to the point where she's got enough information that she knows to kick fuck out of, but see, just at the last minute, the lassie just spills food on her errand and then cleans all the writing off. Like I thought that'd be really interesting to see animated.
Yeah, well, part 5, it's like I want it animated because I know it's going to be good.
Yeah.
But I think with part 6, it could be a lot of moments where it's like, wow, this is actually really well done. Like that I haven't really fully appreciated in the manga, because I did just read it through once, and I don't know, I kind of doubt that I'll read it through again. But I remember one of the only things I remember is I thought that the cast were really good at the beginning of it. Maybe I thought it through the entire thing, but I remember really liking the cast. At least like Weather Report from a design aspect, I liked.
Do you know what would make Giorno perfect?
What?
If they got fucking Hiroshi Kamiya to voice him.
I'm not that much level of like anime that I can name voice actors.
Aragi, Law, that guy, Levi.
I don't know if Law would be good with them.
But that's because Law, like, I think about it right, the guy voice is quite high like, you know how Yato in Origami? It kind of be like that, but a bit more like, I guess, flamboyant.
Well, I guess he could have a lot of range. I'm just interested to see the palette swaps and stuff, because I really love, like, he's got white hair and stuff in some of them. I really like the palette changes he has. I'm kind of upset that for part 3 they never used like Dio with red hair, because there's a statue of Dio with red hair and it's like the best thing ever.
Aye, I mean, an All-Star Battle, I've got that in the PS3. That is a costume that people online love to use. Part 5, I think its setting is like, I wouldn't say it's the best, but it is like insanely memorable, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd say part 5's probably got the most, considering like oh god, my computer again. There we go. You see, for like manga, like
I can't talk now about a minute.
Where you
Yep.
You see, like I find anime just more memorable than manga because it's like, you know, animated and stuff. But there's so much from part 5 that I remember.
Yeah.
Like even before I reread it, I remembered like when he fights the Kraftwerk stand, when Sex Pistols is fighting the guy on the lorry.
Yeah.
And there's White Album on the car. There's Grateful Dead on the train. Coincidentally, all moving vehicles, because I just think that's a cool setting. Like I really vividly remember those fights, because that's the reason I reread part 5. It's because I just remembered those fights.
Yeah, like part 5, like for the start at least, there's kind of basically a fight every chapter, but no, really, like the fight.
Yeah, that's people have a problem with that for some reason. People say that like there's no downtime for part 5.
Well, think about it, right? Adapting that, so is there going to be like 4 fights an episode or something?
Oh, it's going to be weird. Some
be
of
like
the fights are really long.
You know, like One Punch
you
Man
see-
is like 6 fights per episode. It's going to be like that.
You see, for like Grateful Dead, that's like a really long arc, so that's going to be like 3 episodes straight of just that fight, which is weird when you think about it. I'm really torn from JoJo whether I can say it's good to watch it weekly, because it's the end of the week, or if it's better to binge. I think if it's a one episode fight, it's good to watch weekly, but if the fights are taking multiple episodes, then it's better to binge it, because there's no real conclusion per episode. So yeah, because it's going to be interesting. Like with some of those fights where it's like 3 weeks it's the same thing.
Like, do you know? See, if it ever does get animated, I know what, like, in my head right now, I can tell what the best fight in the full series is going to be. See, in part 7, the Ringo fight.
Yep.
If that gets animated, I guarantee it will be the best fight in the full series. Because, see, part 7, I hated it, but I can remember that fight panel by panel. Like, I can actually remember every detail because I enjoyed it that much.
Like, JoJo's blown up in the West, but you see if part 7 came out,
Yeah.
JoJo would ascend from like a good anime to one of the like greatest things of all time for that kind of fights.
Yeah.
Like, it would be god tier. Like there's a lot of fights I like from part 7, like when he fights this other steel ball guy.
Yeah.
And I'd really like that fight, for example. And I don't know, Diego's awesome as well. So
I'm just saying, right? See, like Martin's situation, he's a lucky bastard. Like, experiencing JoJo for the first time, it's such a good feeling.
yeah.
And like, I've told him fake spoilers for like the parts. Like, I says like fucking turns out that I think this is Jotaro's Kira, and he believed it, and he got pissed off, and I just gave him fake spoilers. But
How can you even believe that?
fucking moron. That's how.
I've done stuff like that. You see, for One Piece, a friend of mine saw a picture of Brooke.
Yeah, he's.
And they're like, "What's that?" Yeah, and they they were watching when Perona like puts his hand in Usopp, and they're like, "Oh shit, Usopp's dead."
Yeah.
Then like the fart sound just plays, and it was really pissed off at me. Good stuff though.
Luffy's died. See, every long run series, Luffy's died the most. Think about it. Like, he dies when Crocodile fights him, but not really. So have you ever seen? You ever seen Adventures in Nebulanda?
Well, I've seen you like watch it.
By the way, Luffy legitimately dies in it. I'm no exaggerating.
Poor guy.
No, he's on the ground, no breathing, dead, and everybody's screaming. And do you know the Foxy Pirates, they guys for the filler that like had no relevance to the story? Do you know what the guy does? He like slams his heart so hard that he kind of gets a beat, and then he uses his slow beam and he just keeps hitting his heart hard, and it brings him back to life. It's like, see that movie? I'm not exaggerating. It is the only time in that show's 750, like 700, I think it's 760 now actually. 760 episode run. Like 12, I think it's 13 movies now. 13 movie run. That it took them till Nebulanda to make Nami fucking useful. Nami saves everybody, and I don't like how the fuck.
Yeah, Nami's a bit of a weird one. There's a lot of the One Piece characters that are just really weak for the new world for where they are.
Yeah.
Like literally, apart from the monster trio, and I don't know, maybe Frankie and Robin, they're just shite.
Aye.
Well, anyway.
Can I talk now?
I'm
trying to finish this.
I think we've said basically everything about part 4.
I mean,
we've not said anything about part 4.
We've talked about everything apart from part 4.
And I said we're doing our closure 20 minutes ago, so let's actually do our closure now. Basically, I like part 4 because, interesting stands. Josuke's pretty cool, and I love Kira so much I even bought his tie for £35.
Oh my god, I remember that. I remember getting sent a picture. Oh my god.
Yeah. I wore it once for Halloween and no one knew who I was.
Did you get the reference now?
No.
Oh, that's a shame.
Which isn't surprising. My friends finally get it now that the anime's on.
Well.
Right. You got any closing thoughts for Diamond Is Not Crash?
Well, if we're talking about Crash, Crash get remastered. That's something I'm really excited about,
Yeah.
Well,
hyped for that one.
I feel like if you're going to watch part 4, watch Yu Yu Hakusho first, because you actually, I appreciated Josuke and Okuyasu a lot more after seeing Kuwabara, because it's basically the same thing, and it's easier to digest.
Well, at least in fucking JoJo, Okuyasu didn't just disappear for the last third of it, like Kuwabara did.
Well, Kuwabara didn't disappear, he kind of faked that.
No, it was useless.
No, but he didn't just disappear for no reason. It was like everybody in the spirit realm had like three different sides going into war, and all three of them would decide, And fucking Okuyasu. What the fuck did Okuyasu do? Fucking sat and played fucking Tetris or something. He didn't event today. He wasn't involved in the war.
Kuwabara's just like Yamcha in a way in Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yamcha's getting
which is annoying because I love him.
Oh.
Yeah, I saw that. I love Yamcha, and it pisses me off that he like gets shot on. And then Kuwabara, like, as much as I love Kuwabara, like he's powerful in the beginning and like the tournament.
Yeah.
And then what's his name of the main character again? I was about to say Jason, but that's not very Japanese. Fuck. Well, anyway, Mr. Yu Yu Hakusho, he turns into a demon, and then like the power level just increases like mental.
Yeah.
And Kuwabara just can't keep up. It's just kind of upsetting because it's like they were best friends and they were kind of neck and neck.
Yeah.
Like, and then like because Kuwabara had like a small rivalry with like Hiei, I think that's how you say it, for example. But then they just like outclass him like completely, which is really similar to like Dragon Ball Z, like how Yamcha's human and he's with Super Saiyans and he just can't keep up.
Yeah.
And anyway, that's my closing thoughts on Dragon Ball Z. So
my one last thought about Yu Yu Hakusho. You remember the episode where like fucking Kuwabara doesn't want to fail his test, and the teacher says, "If you fail your test, not if you fight, I'm going to fail your test." So the full episode is like him letting his cell get battered so he can get home and study. That episode's really stuck with me for some reason.
I don't even remember that one.
Well, you're just not a real fan, you fucking poser.
I guess not. I'm not even sure how I managed to watch all of that show, because I'm pretty sure at that point I was sick of watching long-running shows. But that was a good one.
Well,
like the second the tournament arc was like, I've not seen that many tournament arcs, which is weird because I say I love shonen anime and manga, but that tournament arc was just like 10 out of 10.
Well, I mean, the thing is like, if we're speaking technically here, right? See the Dark Tournament. It's like every cunt loves it. Like, it's like, I love the Dark Tournament, but see the arc after it, the Chapter Black. It's fucking so good compared to like everything. Anyway, that's my thoughts on Yu Yu Kuwabara. Fucking, he is unbreakable.
I could probably talk about like Yu Yu Hakusho for like 5 hours, to be honest. Right.
It's so good.
Yeah. This is like I've got to end this like at some point, which is kind of annoying because like I could talk about like all these shows for like 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay, last thing, Yu Yu Hakusho. I love the fact that for the second arc, the enemy is a human.
Yep.
Like an S-class detective rather than just
human.
Because it's not just because you've seen Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball. You know, it's like humans are tough. Then it's suddenly just like humans can't do fuck all. Like we saw like Dark Tournament art guy, really insane, really powerful, like B-class like enemy. Then this guy comes in and he could just shit all over that guy. He's just like insanely strong. I loved that. But yeah, that's that. Basically we're done now. So
thanks for watching the Yu Yu, Dragon, JoJo, One Piece, Z, Bleach, Gintama, fucking Naruto podcast. I'm your host, Gucci Mane. That girl's a real wife beater. I love scrambled eggs. That's my closing thoughts.
I mean, yeah, this has been a mess. We literally talked about everything.
Apart from the one.
Yeah, no, if there's any show you like, we've spoiled it for you.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Oh, so, Caesar dies, right? There you go. That's
Caesar just died. Right. Okay, bye folks. We're done.
Okay, we're done.